Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, shout now, right now, shout now, shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey, and welcome to the show. This is Phillip, and I am, as usual, so excited that you are here. Oh my goodness, it's been a long week, so I'm gonna grab my coffee. Get yours. Okay, so today, this is something from Cuba. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's really good. I think it has some chocolate or something in there. I'm not sure. Okay, so today we're talking about the need for empowerment and what are some obstacles that may get in the way. And sometimes, you may be thinking to yourself, well, what can get in the way of empowerment? A lot of times we don't know that we need to be empowered. And sometimes there are no outlets or no institutions, no programs, no anything that is reaching out to say, hey, we're offering, the product is encouragement. The product is hope. The product is inspiration. Specifically today in these times where there's so many things bombarding us. We've talked about that on some other shows. There's so many things out there and so many choices that we have, but with choices come voices. So not only do we have a lot of things that we can choose to do, we have a lot of sifting to do with the voices that we choose to listen to. So what are those voices telling us? And are they there to uplift us, or are they there to cause confusion? Do we get confused? Do we feel less than? And all of those things. So we're going to tackle that. And we have an awesome and amazing guest today. And I'm super excited that he's here. And I think you'll be excited as well. His name is G. Allen Battle. So before he comes on, let me give you a little bit of his background. Okay, so G. Allen Battle, he's the founder of I Deserve Incorporated and the director of vocal group Family Worship. And he's a disruptor of complacency. Come on, disruptor of complacency. And a deliverer of peace. Born to young entrepreneurs, he's always understood the importance of hard work. In the winter of 2012, the revelation of what it means to be worthy and deserving of good was given to him. After several rewrites of a dozen title changes, the book is complete and it's set to release in the fall of 2022. So stay tuned. His attention to detail is uncanny, which can be both a pain and a pleasure for those who are close to him. He doesn't profess to have it all together, but he is happy to receive the perfect work of love in him. Mr. Battle is obviously favored by God. There's really no other explanation for the success of his endeavors. He has the heart to see everyone be their most authentic selves. And in his own words, he says, I desire to inspire happiness, thoughtfulness, wonder, and confidence. I exist to heal the hurt of the forgotten and the underestimated, to shine light into dark places of the heart, the home of destiny, to make sense of life's many growing pains. I've been blessed to be inspired, and I intend to pass that favor along. So help me welcome to the show, author, healer, creator, singer, songwriter. Listen, help me welcome G. Allen Battle. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome, author, creator. I just feel like I can fly.
It sounds funny when you read it out loud.
Right. You have many titles, clearly many talents. So how did you start? Clearly you're an entrepreneur, so let's just throw that out there. Mm-hmm. Tell us what made you jump into the sphere of encouragement and empowerment.
Well, I guess you can say, it comes with the territory. I'm the son of a pastor. I'm an elder, and then my father is the son of a pastor, and my mother is the daughter of a Bible worker. So in our home, there was ministry. We grew up Christians, Seventh-day Adventist Christians. And so with that, there was Jesus in the morning, Jesus in the noonday, Jesus in the evening, Jesus in the winter, Jesus in the summertime, Jesus all the time. And so with that, I can't help it. I was groomed to serve and to minister and to give.
Yeah. Wow. And you've been doing it for a long time. Okay. So right now, for people who are wondering, where are you located?
I am currently at this very moment in Savannah, Georgia. I work in Savannah, Georgia, and right now I am a resident of Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, Huntsville. Um, Something about that city, it won't let you go. And so I still reside there, but I have been spending quite a bit of time in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. And in Savannah, what I know you have, we're going to get to some of your projects and
Mhm.
some of your project. I call them kids. Some of your kids later, but
Whew, yeah.
so, so if I'm not mistaken, you work in. Tell me, you work in healthcare.
In public health specifically.
Okay.
I moved to Savannah specifically, started working here in Savannah specifically to work with the Coastal Health District of the Georgia Department of Public Health. I'm no longer working with the Georgia Department of Public Health, but I still partner with them in many community endeavors here in the city as we've actually started or opened up a new branch of the I Deserve Incorporated offices. And so now there is a corporate office here in Savannah as well.
Okay. So you opened up. So you no longer work for the Department of Public Health in Atlanta,
Right. I
but
do
you
not.
them with one of your brands, which is called I Deserve.
That's correct.
I love that name. I deserve it. I mean, it's like full stop. I deserve, and we're done here. What?
Period.
You're right here. We're done. Okay, so tell me a little bit about I deserve and why you chose to go that route.
Well, growing up in that Christian home and in that Christian environment, I oftentimes heard about the love of God and I heard about the goodness of God um, and how, when He created the earth and He did this, He did that, and the other, each time He created something that He sat back and He looked at it, He saw it, and He said that it was good. Um, and even further down the line, we see how God gifted us grace, gifted us mercy, gifted us the gift of His Son, the sacrifice that was made for us on the cross. See all of those things, and because we believe that we couldn't earn it, we also believed that we didn't deserve God's love. And as I continued to matriculate through life, I realized, and it became very clear to me that it's very difficult for us to fully experience those things that we don't believe that we deserve. And so I began to dive into what it meant to deserve and what it meant to be worthy and what value meant. And as I studied, I realized that the word deserving doesn't mean that you earned it per se. That is one way for something to be set aside for you because the laborer is worthy of his hire. But another way for you to be deserving of something or for something to be set aside and allotted for you is that the owner of that thing can gift it and designate it for you. And that's what happened with us as it pertains to the love of God, grace, mercy, favor. Um, and I just continue to dive into that. And it's just begun to wash over my entire being. And that is how I Deserve was born.
Wow, that's deep. Then when you come up with you guys have for your brand and for I Deserve, is it a conference? What is it?
So I Deserve is an organization. We do service projects throughout the year. We produce writing materials. We host concerts. We also host an annual conference. The first two of those annual conferences were in 2014 and 2015. They took place in Huntsville, Alabama, the first time at the Von Braun Center, North Hall, and then the next time in Guntersville on Lake Guntersville at one of the retreats there. Since then, the conference has been virtual every year. But we do host an annual conference, and then we host some regional conferences here and there as a part of other mental health and wellness conferences, as well as public health conferences.
So for your conference, I would imagine that you guys go over some like deep topics, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So who who would not need, but who do you see that shows interest in these kind of empowerment conferences or sessions? Who would that be?
You know, initially, the work that we did was focused towards young Christians, because I was focusing it towards people who, you know, could identify with myself in some of the struggles that I had growing up. And as time has progressed, our audience base has shifted quite a bit, from young Christians to young seeker. Matter of fact, to seekers, old and young alike. So whether they're Christian, whether they are believers of any deity at all, whether they are young, old, black, white, or any other ethnicity, we're noticing that our base is just predominantly made up of those people who are searching for some semblance of truth, and what it means to really stand in that truth.
Mm, yeah, that's so hard and difficult for some. You know, what it
Yeah.
that's the life. That's like the life. I think Pontius Pilate was like, "What is truth?" You know, I mean, that
Right.
question goes back centuries. You know,
Hmm.
and one of the things, and I want to ask you, one of the things, because I know it seems very, I grew up very religious as well, as you know, and
Hmm.
so it seems like it could be, and I think you gave a disclaimer there. It could seem to be very Christian centric.
Hmm.
So,
So, because I am Christian, as the founder and creator of this organization, many of the values that we reflect are Christian, but we pull from many teachers and many teachings.
yeah, because people come from all walks of life. They come from, and the agenda seems to be healing.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's it. That's the basis for it all. Healing, and authenticity. And you find that authentic space when you begin to allow yourself to be vulnerable to walk through the process of healing.
That is so interesting because being vulnerable, there's like permission that you have to give.
Hmm.
There's permission that you have to give to somebody, and sometimes it comes along with trust, but there's permission that you have to give to allow somebody to walk with you through that journey.
Hmm.
Because generally when you're a seeker, of course you want to seek something, but it just isn't going to show up. Generally somebody's going to have to either present it to you, walk you to it, something. There has to be somebody involved to take you from where you are to hopefully where you want to be. and
Hmm.
um, and it takes trust, vulnerability, and permission. I can't even tell you, and I'm sure that you've experienced this. People seem like they need help. People seem like they want it, but they don't give anybody permission to speak into their life.
Hmm.
And a
Hmm.
lot of times that could be out of fear, working in public health. Did you ever run into any obstacles where it was you really wanted to give and give and give, but sometimes there were just walls that were just built up?
Absolutely. Specifically because I didn't just work in public health, I was the HIV outreach coordinator for the 8 counties of coastal Georgia.
Eight counties.
Very,
Wow.
very, yes, 8 counties, very rural space, but highly populated, and deeply entrenched in tradition. And so, with that, tradition doesn't always lend itself to truth seekers and um, to those who are looking for help and healing. Though those very traditions are rooted in truth, oftentimes, and rooted in the process of healing. As time progresses, they don't lend themselves in that direction. So, dealing in that space, I oftentimes found myself trying to give and create these healthy spaces, um, and having to fight with the very people who needed them and were saying that they were seeking that help.
did you often find, and this is a deeper kind of question, because you mentioned that you worked in the HIV area, and a lot of times in those areas we work with a lot of LGBTQ individuals. Was it harder to reach out to them from a Christian perspective?
No.
Okay.
I know generally the answer is yes. But and forgive my shifting. I was sitting on my leg, and I'm too old and fat for that now.
We just call it falling asleep. It fell asleep.
We can say that. No, but I would have to say no. I did not find it more difficult, and this is why. My philosophy as it pertains to my Christian beliefs is that I am to model my behavior, but not just my behavior, my thoughts and my beliefs on the actions and the demonstrations of Jesus. And the character of God found in the Bible, because I really think the Bible is just a story telling us about God's character, letting us know about his love for us. It's a love letter. And so in that, it became impossible for me to stay and to continue to dwell in a lot of the, I want to use a better word than hypocrisy.
You might say traditions.
Yeah, tradition. Yeah, that would be the best one. To stay in a lot of those traditions when it came to the way that we communicate with the outside world. And so, yeah, it made it a lot easier because I just treated people like Jesus would. I literally followed the model, what would Jesus do? And it just made it easier. Yeah, Not to mention following that spectrum of the LGBTQ. So that also made it easier too.
Yeah, I was
everybody.
Huh?
I said it made it easier because I love myself. So why wouldn't I love and treat everybody else around me the same way?
I'm glad you said that. That's powerful too. You're going to quit giving me these powerful phrases. I can't go while I'm doing this. I get a pen and paper. So you said you had to love yourself before you could go help somebody.
Well, yeah, because growing up Christian and growing up saved and super saved and being the saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost individual that I am now, water walking, fire baptized, tongue talking, that's me. So with that, I had to reconcile quite a bit of that with who I am and the identity that I present to the world as a member of the LGBTQIA+ community myself. And so I realized that once I was able to reconcile and deal with my own things, it made it so much easier for me to serve the world around me because I no longer had to deal with guilt or condemnation on my own end. Once I let all of that go, I didn't have any issues.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And now you are building this hope, this empire of hope. That's
the goal.
Okay, you can have that one. Go ahead and copyright that one.
I am gonna take it.
But now you're using, and I think this is another deep point, because a lot of times the journey that we go through, even though it can be hard, even though it can be difficult, even though it can be confusing, once we get to the place of I can just be me, I can only be me, and I like that and I love that, then we position ourselves to realize that the journey wasn't just for me. The journey now is I need to share this with somebody who is where I was and share with them that there is a process and you can walk this thing through, that you are not alone. Those words, you are not alone, is so powerful because it can be in any situation. It can be an addiction. It can be, whatever. It's that commonality and knowing that somebody understands you, they hear you. And, again, you were saying no condemnation. There's no judgment. So let's walk this out. And I think that it reminds me of, your I Deserve platform. Because I think that if I were to paint a picture, I would say that would be the freedom that I would understand, that I can go in knowing that it's a place of healing, and unless you pull back the Band-Aid, the doctor can't really see the scar. And when you're in the hospital, it's a safe place, and you allow the doctor to kind of do that and mold you and do all these things. And it's the same place in an empowerment seminar or movement or, anything like that. So now you're using your platform to share hope and inspiration to others. Being an author, you started family worship, so you're a worship leader and a singer and a songwriter. How would you say, I guess, I don't even know, what is it that you specifically, with all the gifts and with all the talents and with all the stones in your journey, what is it that you want to do, or that it is that you are doing? What is your kind of thing? I am this and I want to do this.
I inspire hope and healing. So whatever I do, whether I am selling tires on the side of the road,
Not tires.
whether I am, you gotta pay the bills. Whether I am a chef, whether I am creating some type of herbal blend for a client, I desire to inspire that hope and that healing and that security, that authenticity. Yeah, I want to help people find the truth that they seek.
Amen.
And so that's where that's the source of everything that I do. If it doesn't align with that, I leave it alone.
So you know your why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. As an individual, that's one of the hardest things to get to.
Woo.
Yes. I mean, you can do the what, like I'm doing this. Now you sit back like, but why? After you get, and I think journeys have a lot to do with it. After you understand you, then it seems like the why becomes clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know who you are, so you know who's doing it. You know the makeup and the characteristics, and all of a sudden the why becomes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I noticed that was my biggest frustration. That was my biggest qualm with institutions that state that they are for one reason, but then contradict that reason with their actions. And so I realized, oh, this is my hot button. This is what keeps me going.
Yeah.
My purpose might be somewhere in there, and so I just keep diving in there. Mm-hmm.
No, that's awesome. That's really good. Okay, so in your bio and on your website, we're gonna get to where we can find you, and I've been throwing some plugs out there for everybody to see, so they can kind of search while we talk.
I saw that. Thank you.
You know what? You're welcome. That was my why today. That was my why. But you mentioned that you're doing a book.
Yes. The name of the book is I Deserve. Aptly titled. There's actually 2 books being written, and quite possibly will be published at the same time. That's not an intelligent thing to do, but I've been sitting on I Deserve for so long. I actually released it and then pulled it. Twice.
So just releasing stuff, just throwing it out there.
So I've been sitting on it for so long. It's time to go ahead and release that. Do you all hear that?
Yeah.
I live in a very urban space.
You better duck.
So forgive me. No, but the book is titled I Deserve, and then the one following right after that is titled This Is 30. This is 30. And they are both so good. I don't say that a lot about my work, but
well, if you don't think so, somebody,
I'm overly critical too, though. So, but no, they're so good, and I'm so excited to release them to the world. I think that it's going to. I really think that people are going to be blessed and inspired by it. I'm a little nervous.
Okay.
Just because This Is 30 places me in quite the vulnerable space. And so does I Deserve. But I think it's necessary work. and now I'm ready to release it and leave it released.
Yeah. That's that's the hardest part, is to be vulnerable, and not even to be vulnerable, because you can be vulnerable, but to be seen in that vulnerability. The
Yeah.
visibility of vulnerability is uncomfortable sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, do I want to do this? Okay, go. It's like pressing the button. It's like that send button on that email that you're like, I don't send.
So I want to send it. Yes,
Take
yes.
back. It's like no take backs. I can't. But I'm really proud of you for doing that, and I'm super excited. So it comes out in 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. That's correct. Now you'll see some chapters released here and there throughout this year, actually, of
Okay.
I Deserve, in seminar format. And so you want to pay attention to those, and you can continue to see those details at my website, gallenbattle.org.
Okay.
So those details will come out in seminar format from
And
each
you are
chapter.
will they be on social media as well?
Absolutely. And you can find me on almost every social media platform at G Allen Battle.
Okay.
GALLENBATTLE.
That is awesome. So for your family worship, tell me about that.
So I am technically not the founder of Family Worship. Founder of
Retract.
Family Worship in this iteration. I am the director. My mother is the founder of Family Worship. She and my father. We call my dad Joe Jackson the sequel. So
Hold on a second. Security.
You have met my father, so you know. They wanted to make sure that we sang. My mother was always sad. She said, I needed 5 kids. Oh my God. But I have 4. We're gonna sing. So we started out as a quartet, me and my 3 siblings. And into adulthood, we grew to be this group of about 12 people, and now it's a group of about 8, 12 if you include our band members. And we just have a good time. We write and sing. We do a lot of background work, so that's fun. You can find us at conferences from time to time. You know us, the house singers. We just have a really great time, and our mission is quite similar to my personal mission, and that's to inspire hope and healing. And so when you hear us, we come from an Adventist background, most of us, so music is very important to us. But even when we aren't excellent, one thing that we want people to leave with is that fuzzy feeling you get when you get that revelation, that moment that you receive. We want no matter what we sound like, though we should always sound great. We want to leave having felt and experienced that. Your aha moment, as Oprah would say.
Nice. Well, that is wonderful. Well, I'm so thrilled that you were able to join us today. I am so encouraged by all of the hope and the inspiration that you're sharing. I am amazed at the place that you've come to in your journey. Now you're able to share and minister to other people so they can, bottom line is heal and find hope. So thank you for that. We're going to make sure that we check your website out, and it is gallenbattle.org.
That's correct.
I
said that's correct.
Oh, good. And we're going to be looking forward to a lot of things from you. So thank you so much for being here.
Yes. I just like to say one more thing. The conference that aired last year, November 29th through December the 5th, is actually still available right now on YouTube for you to stream and watch at your leisure. And so you can do that by simply looking me up. G Allen Battle. My face is the first thing you see on the channel, and it's the only playlist available to the public. So go ahead and click that and enjoy yourself. We've got some fitness, we've got some meditations, we've got some main sessions, as well as some great interviews.
Awesome. And for everybody that's at home, I will put that in the description on YouTube, so you guys can go there and you'll be able to click through and see everything that G Allen is doing. Thank you so much. Everybody, we had such a great show today, and I'm all about hope, healing, and this was the epitome of all that. So I'm glad that you joined us. Thank you so much. If you have an inspiring story that you would like to share, please feel free to go to philliporourke.com and share that with us. Or if you have an exciting brand and unique a unique brand that you want to share, I'd love to feature you. So just remember to be you, and that you are the best you in the world. We'll see you next time. Okay, bye.
Don't wait.